Hi guys, it's Jess from Honest Fiction and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing my favorite underrated age gap romances. Alright guys, so for those of you who don't know, age gap romance is one of my absolute favorite type of romance books. I don't know why, I'm just completely obsessed. So I have 5 books that I don't see a lot of people talking about that I really enjoyed. These are some of my absolute favorite age gap romances, and I just can't wait to talk about them with you guys. Now, if you're unfamiliar with my channel, I post new videos every Thursday and Sunday. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. You can also hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I post new bookish content. You can also check out my Instagram and Goodreads, both linked down below. With all that out of the way, let's talk about these underrated age gap romances. Alright guys, so starting off, we have one of my favorites, Wanting Mr. Cain, and this is by Shanora Williams. This was the first book I ever read by this author, and it will not be my last. I loved this so much. We are following Candy, and at the start of this book, she's fairly young, and she meets her dad's best friend, Mr. Cain, and he is this millionaire that is covered in tattoos and kind of has that whole like bad boy thing going on. And she has an immediate crush on him. So as she gets older, this crush just kind of grows. And then right before, I think maybe right after she turns 18, she ends up approaching Mr. Cain and is like, I want you to take my virginity. And it's their story, and I loved this first book. This is the first book in a 3 or 4 book series. I love this one the best, and honestly, I feel like if you just want like the taboo romance, I would stop at this first book. As you progress through the series, it is still their relationship. It becomes a little bit more like romantic suspense. But this first one, oh my gosh. I also love that Candy really takes the lead in this relationship. She is super assertive, and it's great. So highly recommend. It is one of my all-time favorite age gap romances. All right, so this next book I have talked about before on my channel, but not enough people are talking about it. And it's glorious, and it is Little Dove, and this is by Layla Frost. And I actually read this because a commenter recommended it to me, so thank you so much for that. I love this book. It is so good. So we are following Juliet. In the beginning of the story, Juliet is scrounging for food in her own home. So her father is an MMA fighter, and he also likes to bet on fights, and he's not very good at it. And he's just like a negligent parent. So she's looking for food in her house. She hears the front door bang open, and she goes and runs and hides. So she ends up hearing a gunshot, and when she emerges from her hiding place, she sees Maximo, and he has just killed her father, and it is their romance. So Maximo ends up kidnapping her. She assumes she's about to die. Instead, he takes her to his mansion, where he proceeds to give her an amazing education, all the food she wants, and she just has a great life. So eventually, after she turns 18, Maximo has this proposition for her. He is very into the dom sub BDSM lifestyle, and he wants her to be his new submissive, and she's like, all right, sounds good. So he also says to her, hey, if you don't want to do this, like, I will still set you up for life, like, no obligation. So it's not really like he's taking advantage of her in any way, and I loved the relationship. It also has, like, the daddy kink. I hate that. I literally hate daddy kink 99.9% of the time. Loved it in this book. It worked for some reason. But anyway, if you want a very spicy age gap romance, I highly recommend picking this up. It is fabulous. All right, so this next book is by a very popular author, especially on the romance side of BookTube. However, I don't see a lot of people talking about this particular age gap duet, and that is Dangerous Temptation by Giana Darling. So I will say this book feels very different than her other works, and had I not known this was by Giana Darling, I don't think I would have guessed it as the author that wrote it. The writing style is just really different. But I love this duet and this relationship so much. So we're following Bianca, and Bianca is really taking care of her little family. So her little brother has epilepsy, and then her mother is just a little bit flighty, so she is just doing the best to take care of everyone. So her mother ends up dating this mafia guy, and his name is Tiernan, and right away, Bianca and Tiernan just do not get along. And then unfortunately, Bianca's mother dies. So this isn't a spoiler, it happens within the first chapter of the book. And then Tiernan ends up taking custody of Bianca and her little brother, and he's gonna try to use them to his own gain in the mafia world, and all of these secrets are uncovered. But the relationship between Bianca and Tiernan is just great. So Bianca is just this little ray of sunshine. She's into some stuff in the bedroom, was not expecting that. But then you have Tiernan, who's just this stoic, brooding, angry mafioso, and like the two of them together it just worked, and I really, really enjoyed it. The second book I liked just as much as the first, and I highly recommend if you're looking for like a different type of age gap romance, check out this duet. And next up is a sweeter mafia age gap romance, if that's even a thing. But this romance is a little bit more cute than the other ones I've mentioned, and that is Sweet Temptation by Cora Reilly. So in the beginning of the story, we meet Cassio. Cassio's wife has just passed away, and he is now left with 2 small children. Now, Cassio is pretty high up in the mafia, so all of his family is saying, hey, you need to remarry right away. You can't take care of these kids. You need a wife. So he goes and he asks to marry Giulia. She's the daughter of another mafia person that I think is like under him. And Giulia is just a ray of sunshine. Like, she literally loves to wear like bright yellow, and she's just happiness personified. And she's also very innocent and very naive. So they end up getting married, I think, on her 18th birthday. And Giulia is just thrust into the life of being a mafia wife and a mother. And it's her learning to like raise his kids and also how to be in a relationship with a man that seems very cold at first. And I just really enjoyed this. I love seeing their little family. I loved Giulia accepting Cassio's kids and like just being a mother to them. And it was just such a good story. There's also some unexpected like twists towards the end of the book that I didn't see coming. And I just thought this was a really fun age gap romance that not a lot of people are talking about. And the last underrated age gap romance is The Truth About Tomorrow by B. Celeste. So this is the relationship of Charlie and Ollie. So Charlie was actually adopted by Ollie's foster sister, making Ollie Charlie's uncle, and there is a 15-year age gap between them. So it is super forbidden, super taboo, but I really enjoyed it. So Charlie has always had a little bit of a crush on Ollie. Ollie obviously realizing that this is his niece, not by blood, but just by familial relations, didn't want to cross any lines. I forget exactly why, but for some reason, Charlie ends up moving in with Ollie while she's going to a new high school, and that is where the lines start to get a little blurred. And I actually really enjoyed this. This is probably my favorite uncle niece romance. The fact that I've read more than one is kind of making me question things. The thing about this book is Charlie moves in, or Charlie becomes Ollie's niece when she's already like 10 or 12 years old. So we don't have those moments of them like growing up together and Ollie, or Ollie as an adult witnessing Charlie as like a very young child. Those kind of romances kind of creep me out. I'm thinking of like Torn by Carrie and Cole and other romances like that. But this one actually worked for me. I really enjoyed it. I loved seeing Ollie slowly just give in and just fall in love with Charlie. It was just a really enjoyable romance. It is part of a series. There is a book prior to that, and it's Ollie's sister's story. I didn't like that one quite as much, but it's still a pretty good read. But yeah, definitely check it out if you want a super forbidden age gap romance. All right, guys, those are all my favorite underrated age gap romances. Please let me know down in the comments below, what is your favorite age gap romance? And I said this already, I post new videos every Thursday and Sunday, and if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. I will see you all next week. Bye.